Boneless beef short ribs browned and slowly simmered in a sauce made with flavorful dark beer, beef stock, and veggies. It's the perfect weekend meal idea when friends gather at home or at the cottage. Today we're making braised beef short ribs. We received tons of compliments during the testing of this recipe. We wanted to craft a delicious short rib recipe you're going to be able to recreate at home really easily. Trust us, you'll be able to. The one thing I want to mention, this isn't one of those ready in half an hour kind of recipes, because it takes maybe 15 minutes to chop the onions, carrots, celery, parsnip, and garlic. Then you're going to need about 20 minutes to brown the ribs. Sautéing up the veggies and crafting the stewing mix is going to take another 15. And then 2.5 hours leaving the ribs to cook slowly. Two things your home or cottage is going to fill with the appetizing aromas of this delicious dish, and the dish itself is mighty tasty. Let's make this short rib recipe, shall we? To begin, preheat the oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Move the oven rack into the lower third position. Next, you're going to need 4 pounds of boneless beef short ribs. They look like this intact, but I asked the butcher to trim away the fat bone and most of the fat, leaving 4-inch boneless ribs. Pat the short ribs dry using paper towels, then a tiny bowl, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Season each rib, both sides, with the salt and pepper mixture and then set them to the side. As mentioned off the top, there are veggies to chop, and we suggest getting all your veggies chopped and ready to go before you begin. 2 yellow onions diced, 2 carrots diced, 2 celery ribs diced, a parsnip diced, and 6 garlic cloves. They are finely chopped. Now it's time to brown the ribs. Dutch oven goes to moderate high. As soon as the pot comes to temperature, add about 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. When it shimmers and is very hot, we're going to add half the quantity of ribs. Leave them undisturbed to sear. It'll be about 5 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, flip the ribs. Check out that gorgeous browning, then brown the flip side for 5 minutes as well. Once the first round is done, transfer the seared ribs to a plate or platter. Then add more oil to the pot as needed and cook the remaining beef in the same manner. Once all the beef is seared, reduce the heat to moderate or low setting. No need to add more oil to the pot, simply toss the onions into the pot. The goal is to cook them slowly. We want them to caramelize. We're going to scrape up any brown bits from the bottom, stirring the pot frequently. Cook them this way for about 10 minutes. Next, let's add more flavor. Hit the pan with 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Stir them in, then cook for about a minute more. Now we get to add the carrots, the celery, parsnip, and garlic. Cooking until soft. It'll take about 2 to 3 minutes. Time to bump the cooking temperature back up to moderate high, and then we're adding 1 can or a bottle of dark beer. That's about 2 cups worth, 500 milliliters. We're also going to add 1 cup, 250 milliliters of beef stock. We're going to scrape up all the brown bits from the bottom of the pan. Now some fresh herbs, 3 sprigs of fresh thyme, 2 sprigs of rosemary, 3 bay leaves, then tuck in the short ribs and don't miss that chance to add those juices that have been resting in the bottom of the plate or bowl. They're going to add a ton of flavor. Almost ready for the oven, but watch this. The lid to the Dutch oven goes on slightly askew. We want the liquid within to reduce while the ribs are slowly cooking. Transfer the pot to the oven and cook for 2.5 hours. We're going to turn the ribs in the pot at the 1.5 hour mark. Once the ribs are done, a few final tricks to get them ready to serve. First, carefully remove the ribs to a plate or platter. We're going to cover them loosely with foil. Next, we need to get all the fat, and there is a lot of fat at the top of the pan, so strain the veggies and cooking liquids through a fine sieve sitting over a bowl or liquid measure. You can see that layer of fat. Now, if you have one, pour the liquid into a gravy separator. We're going to leave it to settle for about 5 minutes. Now, transfer the liquid, but not the fat, into a small saucepan. We're going to heat over moderate, reducing it by half. That's going to be about 2 cups worth. The last step is to add 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar and then taste. You can season with salt and pepper. You can ladle the sauce over the ribs, add a sprinkle of freshly chopped parsley and serve. These braised beef short ribs are incredible. Served over a dollop of creamy polenta with Parmesan cheese, you can add that sauce to the top and you're ready to go. Full recipe is up at weekend@thecottage.com. When you're visiting our website, please subscribe to it. Look for this video on our dedicated YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it as well. And then when braised beef short ribs are this sensational, take a picture of them, post them on your favorite socials using hashtag weekend@thecottage on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. Braised beef short ribs. As I dig in, you can see how absolutely tender this meat is. We're going to scoop up a little bit of the polenta and then some of that sauce. Amazing. Go ahead, enjoy. Best beef short ribs ever. Love it.